The COVID-19 emergency has hit working families hardest. That's why all across the country, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of every American family. For over 50 years, we've been delivering hope and opportunity. Now more than ever, working families need life-changing services, solutions, and stability. Contact your local community action agency today.
Sure.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good
I'm
morning.
so excited to be here. Glad to have everybody there. Had a little technical glitch, but we're all good. Glad to have everyone here for an exciting announcement on the relaunch of our HVRP program. I'm so excited to have with us today Ms. Charnitta Waters, who serves as our Vice President of Homeless Intervention, and Ms. Olisha Sawyer, who's also with us, who's an administrator with us to talk about HVRP in that program. And so I'm just going to switch things around here a little bit. And we want to thank everyone who's joining with us today and who may be watching this video later. We're going to scroll information on how you can find out more about this program that's specifically geared towards veterans and about the neat things. So we're going to just jump right in. Charnitta, I am going to let you kind of drive here, and I'm going to put up information about that particular program and how individuals can get involved. So welcome.
All right. Well, good morning again. Good morning. We are so pleased to be here. We are relaunching the Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program. We are excited about this wonderful opportunity. As many know, and maybe some who don't know, Stop Incorporated was a former grantee of HVRP a couple of years ago. And here we are back at it, stepping up to the plate to work with homeless veterans and those at risk of becoming homeless with re-entering the workforce, helping them to gain that gainful employment, that sustainable wage. So a little bit about HVRP. HVRP is a Department of Labor, Veterans Employment and Training Services Division funded program. It's funded through the federal government. And with HVRP, our goal, again, is that we work with military vets to provide them those supportive services so that they can re-enter the workforce. With HVRP, we provide case management, we provide employment navigation, we provide the work gear as necessary, a wealth of training and certification opportunities. Again, all of these factors play a major part into helping the veteran obtain gainful employment. We are set to kick off today. HVRP grant year runs from July 1st to June 30th. It runs on a fiscal year. We will be running this program, all goes well, for the next 3 years. And so with that, we'll serve the Hampton Roads population that including the entire Southampton roads, and then also in addition to that, the peninsula, Newport News, Hampton, even the eastern shore of Virginia, Accomack and Northampton County. We are set to serve about 150 households in any given year at minimum. Again, providing all of those robust services to help with job search and placement assistance. So we'll be working a lot with a plethora of partners, including the VA, including local SSVF providers, which is supportive services for veteran families. I had the opportunity to speak about that on a previous live. We'll be working with other community partners, Continuum of Cares, even our main partner, which is the American Job Center, the Virginia Employment Commission, and Virginia Workforce. We will be working with that entity to help these veterans coordinate with services, all hands on deck, a team approach, coordinated effort to help these veterans go into gainful employment. So again, we are very excited about this opportunity. It is what has been missing in this area.
So, this sounds like a whole lot. And I know that, why is this so unique, I guess, in respect for this particular program? And is there anything else like it in the area?
Good question, Carlos. So, why is it so unique? Because there is not a lot of employment supportive service programs that target the most vulnerable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we target the most vulnerable. If there's a will, there's a way. So we really target those folks that want to work. Maybe they don't look like your ideal employment candidate, but these veterans deserve an opportunity to get back into the workforce. Maybe they fell on some hardships and some hard times. And so our goal, our responsibility is to, again, work with them, help cultivate them, bring that confidence back, get them in some job prep classes, some certification and training classes so that they could go into gainful employment. We're not talking about your minimum wage jobs. We are talking about average hourly wage at about $16.24 an hour or higher. We want these veterans to get a employment, a career that they will be able to sustain their housing costs and really be able to care for their household. Why is it so unique in addition to that? Well, STOP is the only grantee in Hampton Roads to have HVRP. The next one close to us is in the Richmond area. But STOP is here in the Hampton Roads area, located in the central part of Virginia Beach, and we are covering the entire Hampton Roads area. And so in that regard, it is unique because it's been asked for it to come back, and it is back, and we're ready to partner and get things going.
Great. So, Olisha, I know that you're here, and I know you're on mute there, but can you kind of, for anybody who's watching this, can you give some examples of some of the situations that you've seen in the past? I know we say homeless veterans, but, I know a lot of people say, okay, when you get out of the military, don't they take care of you? I mean, aren't you put back into the workforce? Can you give us some examples of some of the situations that you've been able to work through in the past and what we can look forward to moving forward?
Yeah, so Carlos, what I will say is I would love to speak to that, but I will tell you, Olisha Sawyer is probably the best person to speak to that. Olisha formerly worked with HVRP some time ago, and so she has that frontline experience with those veterans coming in and out of HVRP, and there was a momentum, an abundance of success seen during her time with HVRP. So, Olisha, feel free to chime in there.
Yes, sure. Good morning. So over the time in the program, I interfaced with a lot of homeless veterans who, some were young veterans who were just being discharged from the military, maybe 18, 19 years old. And afterwards, they had no supportive services. So something that was very unique to HVRP, we were able to interface with those individuals, connect them to housing support so they can get shelter while we begin to address their barriers to employment. Some may have been mental health, sobriety issues, or even just a lack of financial supports to get the certifications and licenses needed to connect to employment. Those are some of the supports that we were able to provide to the veterans coming into our program.
Now, I know that I noticed that something I said there about the employment piece, but I guess in the respect of kind of looking at all that, there's this may be the main focus of this particular program, but STOP as a whole has other assets or other resources to kind of help the whole total concept of helping that veteran. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely, Carlos. And Olisha, feel free to jump in and add here. But I will start is that with STOP being a community action agency at the forefront of fighting the challenges and the barriers that disadvantaged populations, low income families have faced over decades. Again, STOP has been at the forefront of that fight since 1965. And so why are we so unique with HVRP back in our hands, back in our wheelhouse to provide this opportunity? STOP has always pushed employment supportive service. Throughout the years, we provided connections with employers, working with folks that were coming through our housing initiatives, our youth services initiatives. STOP at one point provided job readiness classes. Our CEO, Mrs. Lawrence, facilitated those classes way back when. And so we have a historical reference to the experience and the success that comes out of when you nurture a household and get them prepared and reintegrated back into the workforce. STOP also sits on the Hampton Roads Workforce Board. We have representation on that board working with Virginia Career Works and Virginia Employment Commission, and they've been great partners of ours. And so the wraparound services that STOP provides in-house internally speaks to the employment, income support, housing needs as well. Many folks know our model is H2E2, housing, health, employment, education, and even youth, with youth population being in between that. And so HVRP is that employment piece. We have housing, we have the health, education, and initiatives. We have other programs and services that all are geared to housing stability. But when we bring that employment service back in at a robust speed, it helps for sustainability. It helps that household to progress forward so that they could sustain their housing costs and really help to overcome housing instability. So I would say the unique position again is that the wraparound services we have internally cannot amount to if, say, an agency only had one service. Hats off to those folks as well. But when we have it all under one umbrella and we have interdepartmental collaboration and coordination, we see success. We see the outcomes right in front of our eyes.
Definitely. And I'll also throw in that respect, STOP has over 22 plus different programs, services, and initiatives that are there. But we're also a part of the Unite Us network.
Absolutely.
And which I'd like to kind of talk a little bit about that. But let's say that we have a need for a veteran that comes in that we don't necessarily cover. We have the ability to be able to connect them, right?
Absolutely.
So we do no wrong door policy and approach to services. So we have a veteran that comes to us for any services and they are not eligible for our services. We do provide warm handoffs to a program that may be able to assist the individual. So specifically, we do reach out to United, Mission United or Unite Us, and have the clients to be screened for services. And we also provide referrals and direct clients to the Housing Crisis Hotline as well.
Great. So, I just want to let everyone know that who may be watching this, that we do have a veterans intake service line that's scrolling across the bottom. So this would probably be the first point of contact that an individual would need to contact in order to get support, right?
Absolutely. And as we have multiple referral channels, Carlos, and definitely give me a second just to share that piece. As Olisha shared, we have a no wrong door approach. We screen in and not out. And so we believe in having multiple referral venues and avenues so that folks can try to access the services. Our Veteran Services intake line is our main hub for veteran services. That is the number that you can call and you will be dialed directly into the department to speak with someone on the team that can give you a little more information to what we offer. The Veteran Services Intake Line, there's a representative that sits at that line that will explain what veteran programs we have, and she will work with folks to screen them. We will have, as we develop, because we are actively in developing this team, we will have additional bodies to be able to screen people, to help get these folks screened and assessed to determine if the program is right for them. We will explain what the expectations are and explain how to get enrolled. And so those administrative representatives will also assist with that within STOP. Outside of STOP, we have other referral channels, as you spoke to already. Unite Us, which is a grand platform, and if folks don't know about it, jump on board, guys. That's a plug-in for Unite Us. But definitely it is where we get our referrals on a daily basis for many of services. And so we did see a lot of success with those referrals when we had HVRP before, and we hope it won't be any different moving forward. The VA case managers, the VA employment person representative, Jackie Miles is a lead person over at the VA. She helps to bring in a lot of referrals for HVRP. Marty Chick Eby, which is our VA liaison. All of those entities work together to send us referrals for HVRP as well. The HUD-VASH case managers, shout out to them. And the Continuum of Care partners, that we work with in various areas: Southeastern Virginia Homeless Coalition, Portsmouth Homeless Coalition, the Greater Virginia Peninsula Continuum of Care, Community Partners of Eastern Shore. We haven't forgot about them. They're out there in a rural area. And so these partners all help to drive the referrals to us for HVRP, the Virginia Employment Commission, and the DVOPs. They are the Disabled Veterans Occupations Representative, DVOP. Have a tough time with that acronym. They provide to us referrals, the levers, the Wagner Pizer reps. And I know all of this sounds technical, but it's your folks at the Virginia Employment Commission. A lot of people think VEC is just for unemployment, but their main goal is employment. And so they have a veteran sector where we work directly with them to get referrals, to receive referrals, to send referrals, and to coordinate our services so that we're not duplicating, but that we're working together to make sure the veterans are sustained. So all of those entities and more is where we get those referrals from. So if veterans interface with any of those folks, don't hesitate to ask about HVRP or how you could get connected to us.
Right. We would be remiss if we don't mention the unique feature that STOP has for internal referrals from our supportive services for veterans program, SSVF. So we have a housing program that provides direct referrals to the employment programs for homeless veterans as well.
Absolutely.
So someone who comes in the door, they're a homeless veteran, they've fallen on hard times. You can refer directly from the SSVF program to the HVRP program, because we know it's that whole aspect. If you're homeless and you're trying to figure out where's your next meal, putting a roof over your head, where it's those different tiers, I guess you can say, to move an individual from that crisis moment to getting them to where they're stable, and then we can hopefully get them to where they're thriving, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, correct.
Absolutely.
Wow. So I know the individuals may be watching, and if you are watching, and we've got a couple more minutes here, and if you have a question, feel free to put that in the comment line, and we'll be able to address those there. But so I know that Board of Charnitta, you mentioned that there's a target number, I guess, of the number of veterans that we're trying to support. So are there any barriers, I guess you can say? Let's say that, yes, the veteran has fallen on hard times, but let's say that they've gotten a minor felony or misdemeanor or something like that. Could they still participate in a program like this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Olisha, I will let you speak to that.
Yes. So we use the employment first model where regardless of criminal history, housing status, income, income or any other factor, sobriety, that would not prohibit a person or an individual from receiving services in our program. Wow.
So this is, we're, from my understanding here, outside of like the VA and medical and everything, that type of support, this is a unique program in the respect it's the only one in the area and staff is leading the charge with it that is directly focused on getting veterans employed. I know that SSVF has, at least on both sides of the water, but as far as the employment component, we can get a person housed, we can get them, we can get them connected to food and things like that, but to get them to work, we've got some other things that are in place. But I know that we also have some additional services within the agency. Let's say that a person has children, or they have young children that may need require childcare, or they don't have a car or transportation. Can we also help out with that?
Absolutely. That is some key components of the HVRP program, Carlos. While we also work internally with the Management Support and Special Projects Department within the agency under the leadership of Ms. Bryant, where she provides youth services, HVRP also has a component that allows for some temporary limited child care assistance, as supportive services for veteran families does as well, and also transportation assistance. Transportation is a major barrier in the Hampton Roads area due to the various distances and locations from folks' residencies and households to maybe a public bus line or other transportation. You have some entities, some areas where the bus doesn't even run, or the bus stops after a certain time. And so, how does that interfere with employment? Well, if you have a good job, a good career where the veteran wants to work overnight and they're providing that veteran that sustainable wage. Well, if the bus stops at say 11 or so, how does that veteran get back home at 12 midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning? And so, and the same thing at the top of the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, if that, and we've seen those situations. And so we do provide direct transportation assistance, not only transporting customers as necessary, helping them to get to that job, to look for that job, to go visit employers, to go build those partnerships. But we also provide public bus tokens, transportation through our partners that do one-on-one transport, like maybe a Uber business account, Lyft business account. So we provide those services because, again, as Olisha shared, we are employment first with this program. It's not an official theory, but we took housing first and removed housing. We got housing first on one side and we say employment first on the other. It's employment first, not employment only. So, the expectation is that when the veteran does come to us, we let them know you may very well be ready for a job right now, but is it a gainful wage job? What can we do to help you, prepare you, get you that certification, that training, get you connected to the right employers so that you can get more money and be able to sustain your living costs?
So I'm going to add in that one and kind of pause, because when you talked about you may be ready, a veteran may be ready for a job, but is it a livable wage? So that kind of rings a bell in the respect that, are we also teaching financial literacy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Financial literacy is a component of all of our programs. So starting from intake and enrollment with HVRP, throughout case management sessions, follow-up check-ins with the veterans, even post-follow-up. We are talking about what are your expenses versus what is your income coming in, not your gross, which typically we know with gross income, that is what a lot of programs, many programs look at for qualifications. However, we look at the net when we're talking about financial literacy, because we want to work with the customer so that they could see what's coming in versus what's going out, and what wage do we have to plan for so that they can be able to cover their expenses.
Wow. I'm hearing a lot of great things. I'm excited about this program and its relaunch. Though we didn't have, I guess, the respect of that particular program in name, we were never, I don't think we've ever stopped. I'm still servicing individuals who are in there. So I just kind of, at this particular moment, anybody who knows me, I love to do what I call round robin. So those final thoughts, anything that's on your heart and your mind that you'd like to share with individuals.
Olisha, you want to go first?
Well, we're very excited to bring HVRP back to the area. It was high demand over the past year when we weren't running the grant, and we look forward to hit the streets running and assisting 150 veterans with enrolling into our program and obtaining a family sustaining wage.
Awesome. Awesome. And I will say my final thoughts is, again, while Olisha formerly worked with HVRP, she's in a different capacity now here at STOP, but her expertise and her experience is valuable to the services that we provide. And thank you, Olisha, for the time that you did spend with HVRP. My last and final thoughts, Carlos, I will say, is my call to action. My call to action for employers, the guys that interview, the girls that interview, that look at these resumes, that want to work with us, we need you. We cannot do this alone. We have never tried to do this alone. We work with employers to get this job done. And so within the next couple of weeks, you will see a lot of information coming out. We're going to be reaching out phone calls directly to previous employers that we work with, because we need them to be at the table. We will be having employer roundtables. We're going to do a launch maybe sometime in August, to the community, to the employers, to just reintroduce the program back out to them and start really cultivating, enhancing, and even creating new partnerships. It's definitely necessary. So we're talking about the manufacturing fields, the construction fields, the administrative fields, healthcare, information technology. If you hear us and you are out there and you believe in serving those who have already fought for this country, they have great skill set. Veterans have great skill set. The military does its job when training. Reach out to us. Reach out to 858-1399. My direct number is 858-1361. You have Carlos Clanton's contact information, which I'm sure he will share probably at the end. But please call STOP and let us know how you can help us, and we'll let you know how we can help you. Coordination and partnership is key with this.
Great. Thank you all so much for sharing. As I said, I'm so excited. There's so much that STOP. I mean, I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary in August, and I will say that it has definitely been an opportunity to learn about so much in regards to what STOP has done and what STOP continues to do for so many in our community. I just want to leave those individuals that this is a unique program that STOP is doing and has been doing here, one of a kind. And I think the leadership with Charnitta and Olisha and your team there, but most importantly, I think the visionary leadership of our president and CEO, Ms. Regina Lawrence, who's not here, but she is definitely she's probably watching. But we thank her for her visionary leadership. She's been with this agency for a number of decades. But she has never stopped in regards to thinking about what we can do next to really affect and support the most. And so we are so elated about this opportunity. Again, as Ms. Waters has stated, we encourage you, and I'm going to bring this up right now, for you to go ahead and to learn more about the HVRP program, that you can contact that number 757-858. 1399 for the Veterans Intake Line. Not only if you know of a veteran, if you are a veteran, but most importantly, if you are an employer that is looking for an opportunity to connect with solid workers who have great skills, but who need that opportunity. So with that, please take that opportunity to reach out to us. We are officially launching back off today. We're so excited about it. And again, there's so many other things that we're going to be bringing back to you about STOP Incorporated and a number of our other different programs. Ms. Waters, Charnitta mentioned to you about our E2H2 approach. That's education, employment, housing, and healthcare. And we've got more to share with you. And thank you again for joining us, and have a great day.